Good morning, everybody, or I guess it's afternoon now. Hopefully you guys are all doing amazing. I've got a really fun thing for us to be able to talk about today as we continue these sessions to be able to up and increase our capacity to be better salespeople. Because this is what this is all about, is just how do we become better salespeople, right? How do we up our level so that we can convert at a higher level, that we can have more of a chance to be able to make an impact on the clients and the people that we connect with. So I guess maybe I'll wait another second before we jump in. But let's see, I'm trying to think of who's here. Okay, all right, well, let's get into it. We've talked about this topic before, but I think it's important to reiterate the importance of being curious. Now, when I say the words learning how to be curious, what thoughts come to mind? What do you guys think?
Nosy.
Being nosy. Okay, so it could have a negative connotation. What else?
Discovering.
Discovering.
It's a better one.
Okay. What else?
I think having a desire to learn. If you're curious, you're wanting to learn a lot of things.
Yeah. And so, and
Resourceful.
Resourceful. Yeah. So desire to learn, is it important for us to know who or how we learn? What are some ways in which we can learn?
Hands-on.
Hands-on. Okay. What else? What's another way?
Study.
Okay. How do we study?
Reading, listening, books, podcasts.
Yep. Listening to books, listening to podcasts, watching
Send it to me.
videos.
Oh, she didn't send it to you.
So my mother-in-law taught kindergarten for like 30 plus years. And so I got to kind of see an insight of like basic beginning learning. And there are definite categories of how people learn. Some of them can't read and retain the information that way. Some people are very hands-on and they have to be doing it themselves. Some people are a combination of the two. Some people can watch a video and learn everything that they need to from that video. So there's definitely, we all fall into like a category or a combination of those categories.
Yeah. Some of us are sensory learners. What does that mean? What does it mean to be a sensory learner?
You sense the situation.
Yeah, think about the senses though.
Gut.
What are
Oh,
What are the five
feeling,
senses?
Yeah.
smell,
Touch.
Smell, like viewing something, looking at something, smelling something. Right. So like the way in which you use your senses to learn is another way in which we can make a connection with somebody. Right. When we are at a listing presentation, or even when we're meeting with a buyer for the very first time, how are you perceiving and learning about them? Are you naturally curious as an individual? And if you're not naturally curious, you need to learn to be curious. Because if you're not curious about someone's situation, their like their life, then you'll be very superficial in the questions that you ask. Does that make sense? So today I wanted to play a game. I've written here several secrets about me that, and we're going to role play here, secrets about me as a customer, either a buyer or a seller. And so I'm going to need people to volunteer. And what we're going to do today is we're going to go and see if you guys can discover my secrets of what it is that like what my secret is. So who wants to go? Who wants to be our first agent to be able to role play with me?
I'll do it if nobody else will.
All right, Christina. So let's go. So assuming that I am a client that inquired about a house for sale
Okay.
in let's say Eastvale. So you go ahead and call me.
Hi, Nazar. This is Christina with Provident Real Estate 5 Realty. I noticed you called about 123 Banana Street and wanted to see if you wanted to see that home.
Yeah, I'd like to see it this afternoon,
Okay, great. What time works for you?
4 o'clock.
4 o'clock. Fantastic. And Nazar, are you coming from out of the area?
Coming from Orange County.
Orange County. And what brings you out this way?
We just want to downsize.
Oh, so your kids have all moved out?
Yeah, we don't have any more. It's just my wife and I.
Okay, fantastic. And tell me a little bit more about that situation. So I see that this house here is about 2,800 square feet. Were you looking for something that size or a little bit smaller?
Yeah, that's fine. It's more of a price point. Anything above 2,500 square feet would work for us. But we're looking for, to keep it under 900,000.
Okay. And are you selling a home in the OC?
We would be, yeah, we'll use the proceeds. I don't have to sell the property, but I want to sell the property to, so I can pay the cash for that next home.
Gotcha. And are you going to be commuting, Zar?
No, I'm retired.
You're retired. Great. And what made you guys decide to come out to the Eastvale place area?
Just more affordability, get something, it's still a good neighborhood. It's not far away. I have kids in town. So, having them close by would be nice.
Oh, fantastic. So your kids live in Eastvale?
No, they live in Orange County, but
Oh, they're in
again,
Orange County. Gotcha.
like instead of moving out of state, that this is a better option.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And were you looking to get a single story? I know you said you were downsizing. Does that matter to you if it's a 2-story or a single story?
Yeah, no, I definitely want a single story only.
And this home does not have a pool, but are you open to homes with pools?
We don't mind.
You don't mind if
Where?
I have a pool. Okay, fantastic, Nazar. I will go ahead and schedule that appointment for 4 p.m. I'm going to send you a text message that has all my contact information. And then while I'm at it, I'm going to go ahead and look and see if there's any other single story homes in the area that might fit your needs. And are you only looking in Eastvale, or were you open to Corona, Harupa Valley, Ontario Ranch as well?
Yeah, I'm open to the other areas around there.
Okay, and then in Ontario Ranch, there's an area that has 55 plus homes. Are you okay with those as well, or do you want to stay just in a traditional single family neighborhood?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if it's in a 55 and over community.
Okay, great.
I don't need to have that.
Okay, great. So I'll go ahead and send some more properties over to you, and then we'll go ahead and meet at the 123 Banana Street at 4 p.m. And again, you'll have my contact information. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in that time.
Okay, awesome.
All right, sounds great. See you soon, Nazar. Bye-bye.
All right,
Well,
very good.
Your secret is that you're retired.
No, that's not my secret. You did not discover what my secret was. So you she did a fantastic job of asking a lot of good questions. And remember, when you're talking to someone on the phone, your objective is to set an appointment and go meet with them, right? Like, I'm not saying that needs to be a long drawn out conversation. However, I like to play what's called the hang up game. Who's ever heard of that before? What does it mean to play the hang up game? Aside from Christina.
You'll try and stay on the phone to see who can hang up first?
That's right. That's right.
Zoe and Shauna play that game.
So staying on the phone and making sure that you are not getting off the phone because you're nervous or you're scared. Like when I was younger or newer to real estate, I'd be like, okay, all right, talk to you later, bye. And they were having a conversation with me. So carrying on that conversation allows you to get to know more about them. So if they want to continue on a conversation and you get to ask questions to learn more about them, to be more curious, the better it's going to be for you to know how to help them out. Okay. So Christina failed at getting my my secret. Knowing what you guys know now, who wants to take a stab at asking additional questions to see if you can get out of me what my secret is? Who wants to go? Come on, stop being all little pansies. Let's go.
I'll go.
Okay, go ahead.
So what is your timing to want to make a move?
As soon as possible.
As soon as possible. Great. So depending on the area that we find you the right home, would that also determine the quickness of when you like to move?
What do you mean?
So if we find a home that suits you better in one area, then with another home in a different area where maybe the sellers need, a rent back, they need to stay behind a week or two or a month after we would close escrow, would that be a determining factor for you?
Yeah, no, that'd work.
That would work. Okay, so you're not in an immediate hurry then to leave your home right at this.
Again, I prefer it. I prefer to be able to do the move quickly.
So what is it that is making you wanting to make your move as soon as possible?
That's a fantastic question. The reason I want to make a move is because I have just been diagnosed with terminal cancer. And, the doctor says I can live for another 6 months or so, but I want to set my wife up and make this move because we live in a 2-story house now and it's just too big. So I want to get it set up to where she could be taken care of and have a house that doesn't have a mortgage on it. So she could be, be a lot more comfortable.
Wow, Nazar, first of all, thank you very much for sharing that with me. I'm sending you good vibes, and I hope that I will show you that there's a reason why we are talking on the phone right now at this moment, because it'll give me a chance to show you that I genuinely, care, and that I would like to make sure that we can make this happen for you and your family as soon as possible.
I appreciate that.
Okay, so we will go ahead and we will meet at 123 Banana Street. And then in the meanwhile, I'm going to take a look around for a couple of others as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, very good. Now, it's sometimes it's just asking simply that additional question, right? Like if you do not know motive, then you basically become an order taker or a door opener. Does that make sense? If you just transactionalize the transaction, then all you're basically telling the customer is that I don't give a rat's ass about you. I just want to sell you a home, right? Versus if you're curious and you make the transaction, not just a transaction, but helping a customer, helping a client, helping a human being buy or sell a real estate, then it becomes a lot more intimate, becomes a lot more personal. Because remember, most of the reasons that people move are because of a life event, right? A life change. And so trying to discover why someone wants to buy 123 Banana Street, what draws them to that neighborhood, what draws them to that house, what's important to them, time frame, all of those give clues as to what's their motivation, what is their goals and objectives, and how can we better accomplish that for them. Does that make sense? Okay, very good. All right, let's go again. Who wants to go? Can I ask for Michelle and Chris and Jamie and Beth and Aspen and Melanie and Heather and Paulina to show your beautiful faces so we can see you? So much nicer that way. To you too, Shauna. Okay, so while you guys are turning your cameras on so we can see your faces, which I appreciate, who would like to role play our next one? I've got another secret. Entirely different story. Come on.
I'll do it.
Okay, go ahead, Heather, or sorry, Rochelle.
Well, so Nazar, what is motivating your need to sell so quickly? Or wait, what's the scenario? Because I came in late. I'm sorry. Oh, like, wait a minute.
That's
make sure
okay.
I'm telling you to say.
Yeah.
So you're selling, right?
I'm selling. Yeah.
Okay. So then that question. So Nazar, what's your motivating factor behind you needing to sell as quickly as possible?
I don't need to sell quickly as possible. I'm not in any rush.
Okay. And so if you're not in any rush, what does that look like? Are you thinking 1 to 3 months, 3 to 6 months? Have you thought about how soon you want to have your home sold and be in your next home?
If the stars align and I feel good about it, if I pray and God tells me to make the move, then I'll make the move.
So given that information, and I appreciate your faith and wanting to make sure that it lines up with what you believe, if that were to, God were to speak to you today and say, hey, today is the day, or within the month, I mean, if that were to happen today, will you be willing to get started?
100%.
Okay. And so with that, I don't know. Let's see.
It's a new scenario, Rochelle. Did you catch that? It's like a new one. So it's like you're talking to him for the first time.
Oh, okay. That's what I
It's not a part of the previous.
like, wait a minute. Like, and so the scenario, okay, so if everything aligns in order for you, where would that location look like? Like, where do you want to see yourself? Where do you see yourself moving to?
We're pretty flexible.
Uh-oh, I'm losing you. What'd you say?
We're pretty flexible.
You're pretty flexible. Okay, so have you narrowed down a couple of towns or a couple of neighborhoods? I know
Not
you're
really.
flexible, but I'm pretty sure you want to know exactly where, you have an idea.
Yeah, for sure. Our goal would be to just be in a better financial situation. So, something that we can pay cash for, ideally, would be great.
Okay, so what does that look like? Tell me a little bit more about paying for something cash. So what's the ideal amount that you'll be?
Well, that's why I reached out.
cash?
I want to get an idea of what my house can sell for, what I can net from the sale of this house, and then that'll let me know what my next move is.
Okay, so do you have I can appreciate that. Do you have a amount in mind that you would want to sell your home for that would make you want to move forward?
I'm not sure. Again, my goal is to get something and be able to pay cash for it.
I'm stuck. I don't know what else to say, like how to pull what
All right, Chris Savara, unmute yourself. Let's go. Oh, he's on the phone.
I'll do, yeah, but. Okay, well, what time? Hold on 1 second, please. It's a work call. Let me just, I could do next or something. Hold on.
Okay.
I'll put you back on mute.
All right, who wants to go? Who can help out Ro?
I'll do it.
Okay, go.
Can we just start from the get-go though? I'd rather do that.
No, just continue on.
Okay. Okay, so what shoot. I like starting over. So you want to sell in order to buy, but you don't know what you want to buy until you know what your home sells for, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. If you did have a choice in what you wanted to move into, what would that look like? How many bedrooms?
3 bedrooms, 2 baths, something that's newer, so less maintenance. Definitely a single story.
Okay. And what would your preferred area be?
Again, we're pretty flexible in different areas, as long as it's not in a place that's super cold.
Super cold. Okay. And where do you reside now?
Where do I reside? I'm in LA County.
You're in LA County. It's a little bit busy in that area. Is that something that you like?
I don't mind it.
Okay. Okay. Where do you work?
It's a great question. I work for the city of Los Angeles right now.
Okay. So something potentially in that area, in that county, would maybe be beneficial for you?
Not necessarily.
Okay. Do you work from home?
No.
No. Okay. But you don't mind traveling?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I hear everything that you're saying. Ooh, now I'm kind of stuck. So area wise, I like this whole idea, but now I'm stuck. So if anyone can move into the next question, I would love that, because I do like this role play, but now I'm like, this is what I need help with. So I'm kind of,
Who can help?
Is
Yeah.
oh, sorry.
Oh, go
Oh,
ahead,
oh,
Lisa, if you're gonna jump back in.
I
Okay.
want to hear
Oh.
from somebody else. Hold
Oh,
on, Lisa.
okay.
Let's hear from someone else. Ryan, Beth, Melanie, Michelle, Crystal, like, when you guys
Right.
chime in.
Or two.
Okay, go for it.
Are you willing to move into a rental temporarily? If you sold quickly and we maybe don't find what you're looking for, are you willing to move into something that you would rent for a little while?
No, I don't want to move twice. I'm getting
Okay.
old.
Get that? So commute is a concern for you or not really? That wasn't
No.
totally clear.
It's not.
So is there a time limit, like an hour, 2 hours you're fine with?
I think we're pretty flexible.
Are you looking at leaving your job?
That's the objective. Yeah.
Okay, so possibly state?
Excuse me?
Are you possibly leaving the state or
Um,
interested in
It's
the
an
state?
option. It's an option.
Okay, well, that just throws a whole new level. If it's a different job, then there's a lot of factors that come into play, whether or not, if it's a new state, then
Okay.
We
So let's put a pause on this. Do you know what I do? Do you know where I work? Do you know how long I've been at that job? Do I have any kids? Are they out of the house? Am I married? How long have I been married? In your ideal scenario, do you know where I'd love to live?
somewhere hot.
That's right. So like you guys, if you ask, go deep. You all, like, a lot of times all we do is just scratch the surface, like go deep, like, hey, tell me more about that. Learning to be curious about an individual. Like, imagine if you had connected with a friend that you haven't seen for over 20 years and you were like best friends back then. What would be some of those questions you would ask your friend of 20 years ago today? What would you ask them? Right? Wouldn't you want to know about their family? Wouldn't you want to know about their kids and what their kids are doing and where they're at? What's the next stage of their life? If you think about all the different reasons why people make moves, what is it? For me, the one that I had on this paper here was that I want to retire. My goal is to retire, but I can only retire if I don't have a house payment. Similar to the first one that I have, but this was more retirement based. And so you guys skirted around that, but like, how'd you find that out? Just by asking those additional questions. Like Alicia, you're like, oh yeah, you work, and you got out of me that I worked for LA County, but then that's all you did. That's where you stopped. You could have said, oh, that's wonderful. What do you do for LA County? And if I told you that I was a police officer, if I told you that I was an attorney for the state, or if I told you that I was a medical doctor for the state, or like, knowing what I do for work will do what to you? Like, how will that arm you with more information? What do you guys think? What is the difference between a cop versus an attorney? What do you guys think?
Attorneys make a lot more money, probably.
That's right. So my budget could be higher if I was an attorney. What else? What else is the difference between those two? How's my
Much
persona?
different work schedule.
Yeah, different work schedule. Right
It's
now,
about being able to transfer or taking your business elsewhere.
yeah.
Because
or
attorney can,
I could
yeah.
be self-employed, right? Or I can, again, finding out how long I've been at my job. You know, where did you go to school? Where did you grow up? If you ask me where I grew up and I said, oh, I grew up in Texas. You're like, oh, that's wonderful. What could you ask me if I lived in California today and you found out that I was originally from Texas? What could you extrapolate? What other additional questions could you ask at that point?
People want to go back to Texas.
Yeah. And why would I want to go back to Texas, Beth?
Probably family is
That's
there.
right. So what questions could you ask to find all that out? What could we ask them?
Is your
Are
family
you
still
planning
there?
to move back to Texas? Do you still have family out there?
That's right. You still have family in Texas. And if I said yes, then maybe you ask in a very tongue-in-cheek way, do you like them? Do you want to live by them? Right? How long have you been in California? Do you have siblings out that way, or is it your family? Like, what type of family do you have out there? By asking these questions, again, it's not interrogation, right? This is just more, hey, I'm curious. And you can even use those words. Hey, I'm curious. Do you have family out in Texas? Would you want to move back there? Is that an option of a choice of a location? And then I could either say yes or no. And if I say no, you'd be like, oh, tell me why. And if I say yes, be like, great. You know, like, is that one of the, top 3 on the list? What other states are you considering? And if you already know that I'm looking to retire, say, so aside from paying off your home and buying a home all cash, what else has to happen for you to retire? Why is that an important question to ask?
Because we'll know how many more years you need to be working.
That's right. You'll know exactly how quickly I can make the move. You'll know if there's a contingency in place, if there is a condition in place that will prohibit me from making a move. I can say, I could retire. I'm eligible at retiring when I turn 68, and that happens in March. Or I say, well, yeah, just whenever I retire. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And you leave it at that. Like, you're leaving money on the table, right? By saying, oh, that's exciting. So you can retire when you turn 30 or 68. When does that happen? It happens in April, it happens in, the fall, whatever. The more you know about me, my situation, my circumstances, the easier it is going to be for you to do your job. Easier for you to be able to find out if I've got some contingencies in place, right? If the condition is that I have to wait until, let's say, March or September to retire, then you can say, great. So it looks like you can't really actually make the move before September, because that's when you retire. If an opportunity came up to buy something in a different state like Texas before that time frame, and it made more financial sense to buy today versus waiting until September, are you ready and able and willing to do that today?
And not only that, Nazar, they may have additional homes or investments that they want to get rid of. Because remember that guy that we helped sell in Corona, he wasn't quite there to retire, was waiting for his wife to retire. We sold their primary home, they moved into their investment home, and then we ended up selling that as well, and was like part of his 3-year game plan to get out.
That's correct. Okay. I'm going to be respectful of time. I hope that the message of today's sales call is to be more curious, right? And practice it with your kids, practice it with your significant other, right? Ask them additional questions. Even if you think you know, go deeper, right? See if you can go deeper and deeper and deeper and get more and more of a why, how, when, right? Find motivation that's beyond just, oh, I want to buy a home. If you guys have all experienced making a move from one place to another, it sucks, right? Moving sucks real bad. And so the only way someone's going to do that is if there is a reason. And if you don't know what that reason is, then all you are is just going to be a door opener. Okay, so be extra curious about everyone that's around you so that you naturally can build up those questions in your mind of what to ask as you talk to specific, perspectives. Now, this could be your sphere. This could be when you go to a party and you see someone there that you've either met for the very first time or you haven't seen for a while, or even if you saw them last week. You're asking questions to get to know them on a deeper level. And when you do that, when you kind of unveil the onion, if you will, then you get to really find out what is inside. Then you get to find out how you can truly help them. And then here's the cool part. Once you find out exactly who they are and why they're moving, then you could always draw back to that as their motivation. And so if they start waffling about their decision, like, oh, I don't know, it seems like this is gonna be risky, and be like, hey, John, do you remember that when we talked, you told me that the main reason you want to do this is because you want to retire and you want to have a house paid off. How would your life change if you had a home paid off? How would your life change if you, whatever that is they want, right? And I know it's tough going through the challenges of making this transition, but can you think of how happy you're going to be when it actually happens? Right? Okay. I had more, but we'll stop it at that. But this is something when you guys are role playing, like that's a great idea to role play this type of scenario where you're being curious and truly getting to a deeper level with all of the questions you ask. Don't just ask one superficial question. Ask a question and then ask subsequent 2 or 3 questions about that same exact thing. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts right now? Okay, awesome. All right, guys, hopefully you found this useful. If you guys need me, you know how to reach out to me. Otherwise, I will talk to you later. Bye.